Hi, welcome to day 28 of a 30 days of AI in testing challenge, and my today's challenge is to build my own AI tool. So before I started this challenge, I was not sure if as a tester I would be able to build my own AI tool. I come from dev background back when I started my career, but I was not much into LLMs, TensorFlow, all these libraries, so not well versed with that. I had heard people talking about that, but I had no prior experience or expertise with that or any awareness of that. Even now, my familiarity is pretty basic. But with this task, we will see how one can create their own AI tool. Yes, I was able to do something. So I'll share that use case in today's video. And what I was able to do is to create my own AI bot, LLM, trained on my own specific data. So I will also show you the data file that I've used and then how I am querying into that data file or rather that data model using my own bot. So let's start with this challenge. So the challenge was by Bill Matthews. A huge credit and shout out goes to Bill Matthews. He has been instrumental in this challenge for all of us participants. And today's exercise, what he has done for us, deserves praise like anything. So my salute to Bill Matthews, and let's go ahead with today's task. So today's task was on Google Collaboratory. So people who are not aware about Google Collaboratory, it's something like a collaboration laboratory where you could mix code and text. So essentially you could execute Python code, you can write text, you can share that notebook or collaboratory with your friends, and like they can then also execute or change the code, change the text and play around with that. So it's like a common notebook, it's like a shared notebook of coding, which is pretty cool. A lot of people had been using it because once I got to know about this, I started talking to some of my friends and they knew it, which means it's popular, but somehow I was not much aware about that. So I have to admit that, and today's challenge was more on this collaboratory. So Bill had created this MOT 30 days AI in testing repository where he had given the description that learn about Colab, Google Colab, which is a tool for doing this, or we will be using that tool for doing this. And there are multiple walkthroughs and options that he suggested. So one was to run our own local LLM for chat. So it's pretty interesting. You could download your LLMA file from this, and it's almost around 4 GB file, and when you try to run it, I tried to do that but could not do it. Maybe my machine's configuration were not supporting it, was getting into exceptions. So I moved into the walkthrough 2 and walkthrough 3, and fortunately I just completed this walkthrough 3, which is very interesting because this is probably the wonderful use case every company, every team wants to create, where they can chat with their own testing document. So in that way they can trust what the AI is giving them, because AI is giving them insights on their own testing documentation, reports and stuff like that. So it's essentially on the lines of training your own model and then asking it. So the issues with hallucination or data not up to the mark or data not relevant, those those issues can be minimized through this approach. So to do that, what we did, we could just open this walkthrough 3 in Colab. So I did that, and this is my walkthrough 3. So if you see, it's a mixture of text which explains what has to be done, what are the issues that this walkthrough and this solution will help us with, which is avoid hallucination, reduce that, and information cutoff, because you can train this model on your data. So essentially you can provide the latest data and so on. It uses the RAG concept, which is retrieval augmented generation concept. Which is kind of a training your AI model or the latest data and so on. We are using Hugging Face for models, but at a high level what we will be doing is install the required dependencies, download an LLM model from Hugging Face, upload the documents that you want to chat with. So this will be our custom trained database or data repository where we can put our files, whatever we want to query using AI, and initialize our vector database with the documents, which means loading the data, converting it into vectors and other relevant formats for our LLM, and then loading and configuring that, and then start chatting. So it looks simple, but is actually a lot of steps. Important aspect is that these things need GPU to run. So we are using this model from Hugging Face, which requires GPU to run. And the beautiful part with this Colab is that it supports changing runtime from CPU to GPU. So you can use Google's actual GPU for your project and experimentation purpose by selecting T4 GPU and hitting save. Now after you do that, all the commands Bill had already written, so we just had to click on this play button, which is execute, and these were getting executed on that GPU machine. So we were installing some transformers and bits and bytes, safe tensors, and all these libraries which are required to do that. So we in this walkthrough it was mentioned that you don't need to actually understand the code, because there are a lot of libraries, and all in all running LLM and using them is a specific skill. So this walkthrough, what I am doing is more from a user point of view, not from a developer point of view. And if somebody is interested in a developer point of view thing, then they could do this free course from Hugging Face, which offers this course which talks about all these aspects of setup, transformer model, how do you use a transformer, and all these 8-9 chapters with multiple subtopics and so on. So go ahead and check that out. Maybe I will check that out in some coming times. And then importing the dependencies, then downloading a model from Hugging Face. So just click on the play. I'm not hitting it because I've already done it and it takes some time, but I'll add the link to this Colab and to Bill's repository, so you can go here and execute that out. So that's pretty much possible. And once you do that, it shows whatever is happening, so you will get the outputs right there in this document. You tokenize the things and then you mount your Google Drive. So what I've done, I've created this folder MOT day 28 docs on my Google Drive, and I've added this software engineering metrics PDF file here. Now what I have done is that I've given this path to it, and I've asked it to mount that path and then import all the files from that path and print it. So it has told me that it finds this file which is there. So now it has trained itself on this data, and then loading that PDF or multiple PDF files. So right now I've just added one as a vector, and eventually building Hugging Face pipeline, and the pipeline is ready. So you could set in all the things, caching, whatever you want to set. For example, what is the max length, token and model and tokenizer, and whatever we want to do. And at the end we are building now the conversation. So using some libraries, and how should the response be looking like, and then chatting with our own document. So I asked it a question that what is measurement issue in software engineering, because the paper was actually on software engineering metrics. What do they measure, how do we know? So it was all about metrics, measurement, data collection in software engineering, and it gave some answers. So it also added its own prompt that tells that don't hallucinate and so on. And at the end it gave its own answer, which is one of the measurement issues, the breakdown of some software engineering collection, and overall so the answer came from this PDF, which is my own data, and it came from that. We could also create a chat interface from that by launching, triggering this command and building this UI, which gives a temporary URL which I had opened here in Gradio. And what I could do is I just have to type the question and ask and wait for the response. So I'll type another question just for this demonstration. So what are the types of measurements used in software testing? And I have hit. So now it will search, and it will search the vectors, the information in my data model, and if it gets something on these lines, it will publish that. If it will not get something, it will not publish that. So that's the insight into that. It has taken some like 21 seconds because it's a relatively small model, so the speed and scale at which like Google models give you the data, or Chat GPT or Gemini, all these things give you the data, so that cannot be matched. But it's now processing, and processing it for some time, and once it will process, it will giving you some answer in the above window, where if you go up, what I'll do is I'll just go a little up. So this was an old question that I had asked, is that what are the issues with measurement in software engineering, and it automatically created this prompt and asked this question to it. And if you see, even our answer has got added, which is like what are the various type of measurement used in software testing, and different type of measurement used, and some of the common ones. So it has given me the answer, top 10 measurements used in software testing based on that. And then it gave me other questions which are relevant to my question, that what are the limitations and challenges of using measurement, and what is the helpful answer for that. Then another question relevant to my question and an answer relevant to that, and so on. So it's using some caching and getting the next answers also ready, and so on. So pretty interesting use case. I have a lot to explore, but I wanted to make a quick video on this so that I could tell you the possibilities and what you can do in if you have collaborators and mentors like Bill Matthew, and amazing support from the awesome communities like Minister of Testing. So thank you. I would be exploring it more, and hopefully maybe coming out with more such videos, maybe a detailed one, because that would require a lot of editing, considering the time it takes to initiate and trigger some commands, and then availability of Colab and so on. So multiple concepts sunk into one video. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.